Hello, everybody. Welcome to Robin Craig Live, broadcasting from my hometown, Houston, Texas. We are only 2 days away from officially being in winter, but Mother Nature got kind of confused here in my neck of the woods. The leaves are just now falling off the trees, and I am raking them like a wild woman. I went out there today and raked a million of them out of the pool, and all I was really doing was just getting the worst of them. And I looked up as the wind blew, and it just looked like beautiful rain, just yellow leaves flying. And I thought, those are so pretty, until I remembered I'm the leaf raker. But whatever, they're falling off, and I so look forward to getting a reprieve, hopefully sometime in January or at least by February. Now, I had told you guys I was giving away a case of bean Etos. Everybody knows how much I love them. These are the chips that are made from beans. They are low glycemic. They have protein. They have omegas. They're so good for you, and they're tasty. My favorite flavor being the Chipotle barbecue flavored, made from black beans. And I am now going to announce the winner of not one, not two, not three bags, but a whole case of Benitos. And the winner is, drumroll, Nyla Dutcher in Edmond, Oklahoma. Yay, Nyla, you won them. And I know you already like them, because I saw the little note that you sent me on Facebook where you had found them in a health food store, and you put a picture of them up, which I enjoyed seeing. So I'm thrilled that you won, because you're going to have a case of them so you can share them with everybody at work, just like Sherry, who won in California a couple of weeks back. And she said her boys love them. They're 16 and 22. And prior to that, Shannon in Indiana won, and her little kids, I know Lucas is 4 and her daughter's younger than that, and they liked them. So it's like we all like them across the board. So congratulations to Nyla. It pays to watch Robin Craig Live. Congratulations. Now, tonight we have a lot of different things to talk about. I want to say congratulations to my niece. She's been married to my husband for about a year and a half now, and she graduated from University of Houston this last week with her master's in accounting, and she graduated with honors, and she's only 23 years old. That's what's so impressive to me. She's 23 years old, and kudos to my nephew and to her parents who supported her and who paid for her education, and kudos to Kristen, who went straight through. She went to summer school, and it was really great to go watch her walk across the stage last week. So congratulations to Kristen Craig. I'm really proud of you, sweetie. And tonight we are talking about what the widowed really want for Christmas. That includes Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever your holiday season is called. What do you really, really want? We're going to be talking about that in a moment. But first, it's time for the critter update. Now, I've been hearing activity. You guys heard me say last year was the big year. 4 possums, 4 raccoons, and a poor cat. Of course, I let them all go. Take them down to the reservoir. Well, this year I thought, I must have all the holes patched up because things have been quiet until about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I have caught 3 possums in the last few weeks, all safely delivered down to the reservoir. Well, as everybody knows, when I first started catching the critters in 2010, a friend of mine said, Robin, you're Critter Girl, and you should do a show called Critter Girl. Well, we've all laughed about it because, that name so fits me. Well, just this last week, I went to the mailbox. I had an unexpected package that I had to sign for. And I thought, I didn't order anything. I'm not looking for anything. I wonder what it is. Well, Nyla Dutcher and Julia Ingracia got together, and they got me the coolest t-shirt. I'm only going to hold it up a little bit because it's white, and white will upset the white balance of the camera. But check this out. Can you read that? A Critter Girl t-shirt. It's got long sleeves, and I'm dying laughing. You girls are cracking me up. I love it. I can't believe you did that. Okay, so when I had this activity, I thought, okay, I got to go put some food out. Well, I had gone to my girlfriend's birthday party, And she had it catered, and they had the most wonderful etouffee. It was so good over rice. So she insisted I bring a big thing of it home because they just didn't have storage for it. So I thought, ooh, I know I'm going to catch whatever it is with the etouffee over rice. I even heated it, and it had big pieces of shrimp in there. It really smelled great. So I put it in the cage, and I just knew the following day I would have something in there. So I run out there the next morning, nothing. The shrimp were missing. The rice was still there. So now I know that rats were eating it because they were not heavy enough to make the cage door go down. So that was kind of gross. But I thought, you know what? The rats around here are really getting picky because the rice with the juice on it, I would have thought, would have been just as tasty as the shrimp. But nonetheless, the bowl was in there. It had the rice and it had the juice in there. And I started to throw it away, and I thought, oh, I'm busy and I'll just deal with it later. So I left that in there. Well, 2 days passed. I get this Critter Girl shirt. A friend of mine comes over, and I said, you know, I hope I catch something because I cannot wait to have my picture made next to the wildlife wearing my Critter Girl shirt. Isn't that weird? I mean, I've gone from being so afraid I wouldn't walk around the house to saying, I hope I catch something. This is insane. So, long story short, I was disappointed when I didn't catch anything. Well, my neighbor, her name is Dee. I don't know her, but to show you how my reputation is growing in this complete arena, Dee calls me and she goes, Robin, I hear that you catch wildlife, and I caught a possum. I'm wondering if you'll take it down to the reservoir for me. That cracked me up. Dee is 80 years old. She's been a widow for many, many years, I think maybe 35 years. And she is in a wheelchair, and she's got one of those little electrical scooters. I mean, it doesn't slow her down a bit. She wheels and deals. It was adorable to watch her maneuver. So I went down to Dee's house. I took pictures of her with the possum, and then she took pictures of me with the possum. We're just like having fun with it. And then she shared with me that her life, I'm sorry, her yard has been recognized as a wildlife habitat by the National Wildlife Federation. And what does she rescue? Turtles. Isn't that the cutest thing? So if somebody finds a turtle in distress or they rescue it for some reason or another, Dee will go pick it up and she keeps it in her yard. And she had what she called a little turtle cave where there were blocks lined up, and then there was a big block across the top. And I watched this little turtle. Here's the top. The little turtle goes in, he U-turns, and he was just watching. Like, I feel very safe watching you girls. It was the cutest thing. So when he came out, Dee picks him up, and she pointed to what looked like a little gunshot. It didn't go all the way through, but it was about the size of a gunshot. And she told me that the turtle was rescued from kids who were setting off fireworks on the poor little guy's back. Can you believe that? Kids are setting off fireworks on the poor turtle's back. Can you imagine how frightened he must have been? But he got rescued. He's now at Dee's house. She named him One Shot. Isn't that the cutest thing? One Shot the turtle lives at Dee's house. He's happy as can be. He goes in the turtle cave. She's got a turtle pond. It's just priceless. But I just laugh to think, now I'm Critter Girl in the neighborhood. So I got another notch in my widowhood empowerment belt because I took the turtle to the reservoir by myself. Cindy, my neighbor who goes with me, was working until 10:30 that night. So I thought, Robin, you got to take care of it. So I went down there, I let it go. It was no big deal. So a little bit of more empowerment on my end. Okay, now here's the funniest part. I get the Critter Girl t-shirt. Here it is again. I love it. I love the gold lettering. It's way cute. I get the shirt. I tell my friend yesterday, oh, I hope I catch something. But I didn't hear any noise last night, so I didn't even think about putting more food out there. Well, today, when I was going out to rake out the leaves, I thought, oh, you know what? I need my blower because I'm telling you, they're just like this thick everywhere. And I wanted to blow them away from the pool. So I go to the front, I get the blower, I turn around, and I go, oh, there's something in the cage. I caught another possum. Can you believe I caught another one? This is possum number 8. I'm now on possum number 8, 4 raccoons and a cat. Doesn't that sound like a TV show? So here's the crazy part. This was really like almost at dark. So I knew I didn't have time to load him up and take him to the reservoir. So instead, I put some bread in there and I gave him some water. So he's spending the night out there until I can get him to the reservoir in the morning. But you know, I will be wearing my shirt. Is that just the funniest thing? So thank you, Nyla, and thank you, Julia, for getting me this great shirt just in the nick of time. This possum's name is Poncho. It's so fun to name them. Cindy started naming them with a P name. So we've had, let's see, Pete, Percy, Penny, Penelope, Pablo, Pasta, Patricia, and I named this one Poncho. Isn't that funny? And Dee, by the way, named her possum Joker. And she actually has caught another one, but I wasn't available to help her, so Cindy helped her. She named the next one Ace. So it looks like she's going through a deck of cards to name hers. Is that just the funniest thing in the world? Okay, so enough of the critters, but you know how funny I think all this is, and what a big kick it is for me. So I see Julia was already asking. Absolutely. I know I do need another shirt, Possum Girl. You guys are cracking me up in the chat room. I do need another shirt called Possum Girl because the possums are winning. And you know what's weird? Of course, you know I'll take pictures and post them, but this one almost has like a white stripe down his back. And I thought, can a skunk and a possum mate? I don't know. I don't know, but I'll show you the pictures. Okay, so it's hilarious. You got to have some kind of fun, right? Okay, yesterday I had the great pleasure of driving to Conroe, which is about an hour north of Houston, to be on the Yankee Grant Show. And we had a great time. I've known Yankee for many, many years. We're members of Women in Film and Television, and we were both in a short film that Yankee co-produced in 2008, where I actually played the part of a widow. And of course, I was a widow, so that was an interesting thing to do. But we had a great show, lots and lots of fun, and I look forward to posting the link to that within the next day or so. Now, you know how I like to cover news stories, and sometimes there are things that are pertinent, and I wanted to share a news story about a lady in Italy, because you know how I always tell you guys, we have to plan for our death because death is imminent. It's coming for each and every one of us. And the moment you die, people start scrambling and fighting over stuff. And if you don't have a last will and testament, the government is more than happy to come in and take your assets, which you really want your heirs to have. Well, you've got to plan intelligently, though. Let me tell you what one lady did. A 4-year-old stray cat that was rescued from the streets of Rome has inherited a $13 million fortune. Is that insane? From a lady who was a wealthy widow of an Italian property tycoon. Maria Assunta left the fortune to her beloved kitty Tommaso. I think that means Thomas in Italian, rather. She died just a few weeks ago at the old age of 94. The feline's newfound riches include cash, as well as properties in Rome, Milan, and land in Calabria. As her health began to fail 2 years ago, Assunta, who had no children, began to seek out a way to see that Tommaso was properly cared for after she died. So in November of 2009, she bequeathed her entire estate to the alley cat that she had previously rescued. Initially, Assunta had instructed her attorneys to identify an animal welfare association or group to which she could leave her estate and the commitment of looking after Tommaso, according to the Daily Telegraph. Unable to find a satisfactory association to see to it that Tommaso was loved and cared for, Assunta decided to leave all of her money to the cat via her nurse Stefania, who had cared for her until her dying day. She had become very fond of the nurse who had assisted her, said one of the lawyers to the newspaper, Anna Orezioni. We are convinced that Stefania is the right person to carry out the old lady's wishes. She loves animals just like the woman, and she devoted herself to the woman right up until the end. Stefania told the Telegraph that she had no idea the woman she was caring for was so incredibly wealthy. So it's crazy to think that you can leave 13 million to a cat, but yet your lifestyle doesn't show that you had that kind of money. Isn't that just crazy? She says the old lady suffered from loneliness and she looked after the cat more than you would look after a son. I promised her that I would look after the cat when she was no longer around. She wanted to be sure that Tommaso would be loved and cuddled, but I never imagined that she had this sort of wealth. She was very discreet and quiet, and I knew very little of her private life. She only told me that she suffered from loneliness a lot, and we all suffer from loneliness when we're widowed, men or women. That just comes with the territory. And if you don't have children and you don't have kids, well, then your pets are your kids. So she says that Tommaso and Stefania, along with one other cat, are living outside of Rome at an undisclosed address to avoid con artists and potential kidnappers. Can you imagine? As a matter of fact, that made me think I need to be careful because that cat looked an awful lot like my cat, Indigo Sherry. What if my cat got kidnapped because of mistaken identity? Oh my gosh, it's something to think about. Long story short, the windfall for Tommaso places him number 3 on a list of wealthy pets. He's behind Kalu the chimp, whose owner left him $80 million, and top dog Gunther the Fourth, a German shepherd who inherited, I just can't even believe this, $372 million from his father, Gunther III. He was a beloved companion of an eccentric German countess. I thought, don't you know those people are breeding puppies like crazy so that the money keeps being passed down from one dog to the next? And then, of course, we all remember Leona Helmsley, who left $12 million to her little dog Trouble, and her human descendants contested, and Trouble's pot was cut to 2 million. So that means a judge said that 10 million should go to her other heirs. Now that's insanity, guys, because guess what? The attorneys are going to get the majority of the money. How much money can a cat or a dog spend, for heaven's sake? And isn't it insane with all of the poverty and starving people and orphans and so many people that are struggling to leave that kind of money to an animal? And Lord knows I understand loving animals. I love my cat to pieces, and I've bawled many tears over all the dogs and my last cat that died. But to leave money like that is ridiculous because it doesn't get spent on the animal. And if you want to leave the money to the attorneys, just leave it to them. But don't let them get it by default because the money's just sitting there and then the animal dies and there you have it. So isn't that crazy though? Oh my gosh. I know. I'm looking to see what you guys are saying. And Leona was the queen of mean. I remember that. I remember that. And I remember when Leona passed away and what a big hoopla it was, about 12 million for her dog. But animals don't need that money. People need that money. So if you're watching the show and if you have a lot of money, of course you can make sure your pets are taken care of. And that's the right thing to do. But don't leave them a truckload of money because it's just not going to go to them. It's insanity. And I started thinking when this lady Maria in Italy, when she was not able to find a suitable home, I thought, why couldn't she? And was that because she had her attorneys looking and out of greed, they were telling her, oh, there's not a suitable nonprofit organization because they knew they would get wiped out money-wise. It would just go straight to the nonprofit. It's ridiculous. And at 94, I mean, who knows? Maybe this lady had a little bit of dementia. We don't know what was wrong with her, but she clearly didn't make a good decision. So plan for your own death and be smart with your money to make sure that it goes where you want it to go. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't have any kids, but I've got, 2 nieces and a nephew. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there are other things that you can do with your money rather than leaving it to an attorney. just because you think you're leaving it to your pet. Okay, so enough about that. All right, now tonight's topic is what the widowed want for Christmas. And I always say I'm including all the holidays, whether it's Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, or whatever. And I put out the word on Facebook. If you're not following me on Facebook, I hope that you will, because I love talking to you guys, and it's wonderful that we're able to share information back and forth. You can find me under Robin Craig, and you can also find me on Twitter, Robin_Craig. So please follow me and let me know who you are so that we can keep the dialogue going. It's amazing. Okay, first of all, I heard from Irene. I'm only going to give first names. I heard from Irene, who lives in Manchester, United Kingdom, meaning Great Britain. She says, I guess I cannot have what I would really want. My husband back, fit and well. Obviously, her husband was ill when he passed away. And I think probably most of the people watching the show would wish for that, but it's just not going to happen, you know? It's sad, but it's not going to happen. But I'm happy that Irene shared that because she's speaking from the heart and she's saying really what a whole lot of us would wish for, but obviously that's not going to happen. Okay, then I spoke to Janet in Canada, and she said, she didn't really say what she wanted for Christmas, but she did say, all I do is cry. Tomorrow is his birthday, her husband. The first without him, as it has only been 10 months. The hardest thing I have ever been through. And I just want to say to everybody, the holidays are so hard. So many people are grieving and hurting and trying to just absorb what's happened to them and to find their new path and to deal with all of the creditors and the clothing and the personal possessions of their loved one. And the holidays make it so much worse because the holidays are about friends and family and the people that you love. And when the one that you love the most is gone, it's a really hard time. So Janet, honey, I thank you for responding, and I really wish you the best. And I do want to tell you that the pain does lessen over time. It never goes away. We are scarred forever. We never forget, but the pain does lessen. The first set of holidays are so, so, so hard. Checking into the chat room, Sandy, who is in California, says that even after 5 years, I'm just saying it can still really be difficult. And can't it though? I know. I mean, I'm 6 years out and it's still hard. I haven't had a tree or decorations in 6 years. And that seems so weird to me. And I really wanted it this year, but to do it by myself is not fun. And I thought, even if I go buy a tree and somebody helps me tie it onto the top of my car, how on earth would I get it in? It just felt like a chore more than something joyous like it was before. And I know my sister early on gave me a few little decorations, and she was really trying to help me feel better. And they're just in the garage, you know, in a big plastic box. So I hope next year that something changes. I'm wondering if you guys are decorating, you know, because it makes you feel happy when you do. But if you're by yourself like I am, it's a chore. Okay, I know Julia's saying put up a tree. You know what's funny? I had one of those 3-foot silver metal trees that a lady gave me when I was in second grade. And I put it up every year, and I used to make jokes that a curse would descend if I stopped putting it up. And you know what? I can't find it. It was up in the attic all the time, and I've had 2 friends go up there and look, and they can't find it. So it's either somewhere that I just haven't found it. I mean, I've turned almost everything upside down at this point. But if I had that tree, I would put it up. But I don't know. It's just a strange thing for me. And I really want the decorations, but it just makes me feel lonely to just do it by myself. And then to think, oh, and then I got to take it down by myself. So I don't know. Maybe next year it'll be something different. So, okay. All right. I'm checking you guys out. Okay, so Nyla, you had your grandson's help, and that's really helpful. If you've got any kind of kids or anybody that's hanging around, you can have so much fun. It's not like you have to have your husband. You can have fun with other people, but I mean, I'm over here by myself, and so it's like a chore. I hate that, but that's just the way it went for me. So, okay, so now moving along, Sue in Bath, Maine. I love it because people have responded from all over. Sue in Bath, Maine says, Robin, as a widow, what I really want is for old friends to remember that we are here and lonely. Amen to that. Don't stop inviting us to parties or out for dinner or a drink just because we no longer have our partners. We have lost the loves of our lives. Yes, we have. No longer being contacted by our friends means we are truly alone. Even just a phone call asking how we're doing would mean so much. But the resounding silence of being ignored is almost more than one can handle. And Sue, honey, you are so right about that. People just forget about us. And they assume that we're doing fine and everything's great, and they just go on about their business. And then sometimes they think, oh, it's been 2 years or 3 years, or in my case 6 years, and everybody assumes you've got everything figured out and that it's perfect, but it's still not. It's still crazy, and we are still reminded by the people that we loved and celebrated with for so many, many years. Yes. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying in here. Okay, okay, okay. So you guys used to go to a lot of parties. Nyla says that she and her husband used to go to 3 or 4 parties a year. And I know I did too. We went to a ton of them. And people forget about you. And I mean, if you have work parties, that's great. Not everybody is working. Not everybody has that. But you want your friends to invite you. It's sad because it's almost like some people feel like you're going to steal their husband or something. It's like, what is it? They're afraid you're going to walk under the mistletoe and kiss their man. And it's like, nobody's even thinking about anything like that. You just want some continuity. And if you used to go to parties with your friends, why should that change? So if you're watching the show, please invite the widowed to your parties. Thank you, Sue, for that response. Okay, Nita says, please don't think that showing up with decorations, etc., and making us feel obligated to decorate is going to magically help. Ask what we feel like doing, and please respect what we feel is right for us. Isn't that great? Boy, I tell you, I really, really, really appreciate that comment because, that's kind of what happened when my sister came and she brought some cute little decorations, but it was early on and I just so wasn't ready for it. So I went with it because it was so sweet and precious that she brought them over. But in the end, I just wasn't feeling it. So we have to think about that. It's nice to make the effort to help people who are widowed. And it's really special if you can buy something that's pretty and decorative and take it to them. But if they don't feel like putting it up, don't press the issue. That's really beautiful. Okay, Sandy says at church the other day, a widow friend of 12 years introduced her to her new husband, and she was so happy for her. So there's hope. And you know what? There is hope. And there are a lot of guys out there. And love is around the corner for a lot of us. And I know that. We all know that. If you want to find love again, it's out there. But you have to heal first, and you have to be ready to receive the love. And sometimes I know I met somebody last summer who said that she started dating about 7 months after her husband died. They dated for close to a year, and then when they broke up, she realized that she had never really allowed herself to grieve for her husband. So she had to grieve for her husband and the boyfriend at the same time. How hard would that be? That's a little crazy. So you want to make sure that you're healed and that you're ready to start dating when you get out there. And then if you find love, what a blessing. I think about Carol Brody Fleet with Widows Wear Stilettos, and I think about Michelle Neff Hernandez with Soaring Spirits Lost Foundation. And I'm so happy to see them both so happy with their husbands. It's so great. Love, to find love again, I think is so special. And I think that you really appreciate it more when you've had love and you've lost it. Okay, so that's funny. Great, Nyla. Nyla was watching when I had Tom Zuba on the show, and Tom is a widower, and he's lost 2 of his 3 children. But we talked about how to get through the holiday, and Tom said to buy yourself a present and put a note in it from your husband. Did you do that, Nyla? Did you put a note in it from John, your husband, or did you just buy yourself the present and that was it? She got an elf hat, and elf socks. And I saw your picture and I loved it. Those happy socks were so cute. But did you put the note in it? Because that's interesting to see if you actually put the note in there, because that's kind of cool. Tom said that his wife loved to give him presents, and he missed that, of course, when she was gone. So every year since she's been gone, Tom buys himself a present, and he puts a note in there and writes what he thinks that his wife would have written. So Nyla, that's great that you saw that on the show, and you got yourself the happy elf hat and the elf socks. I loved seeing that on your Facebook page. That was so cute. Oh, that's so cute. The note said, that is cute. The note said, come elf with me. I wonder what that means, Nyla. That's very cute, honey. I absolutely love that. And it is fun. I know when you did goofy stuff with your spouse, it's like you really miss that. But then you find, you can do a lot of these things by yourself if you just think of it. So I appreciate Tom Zuba, a great, great guy, a wonderful friend. I love him to pieces. He's in Chicago. And I appreciate him so much for bringing that up. Okay, as a matter of fact, I got Tom Zuba to give me his comment. I wanted to hear from some widowers. And what Tom said that he wants for Christmas is to continue to open my heart, mind, and will to the plan that the God I believe in has for my life. Remarkably, that plan included the death of my daughter, my wife, and my son. How do I know this? It's not possible for anything to touch me without God's loving hand involved. And amen to that, Tom. That's so beautiful. Isn't he just like the greatest guy? And and that's what I say all the time too, with the work that I'm doing to help the widowed and the grieving. I realized too, I had to lose my husband and the majority of my family to be at this place where I am now, and to understand that my mission is to help the widowed and the grieving. And it really makes sense of the death. And I know a lot of widows take on the cause of their husband's death. I have several friends whose husbands died of pancreatic cancer. And Nyla, I know you're in that boat as well. And they've taken up the pancreatic cancer cause. And so whatever your cause is, it's wonderful to be able to give back and to have that stem from the intense loss and the pain that we've all had to deal with. It's so great. Oh my gosh, Greggy's widow. Hi, Brandi. We've missed you so much, honey. I'm so glad you're here. I assume that you must be done with school. That is so great. That is so great. I'm so glad you're here, honey. Wow. And yes, everybody should friend Tom Zuba. Z-U-B-A is how you spell his name. And he's a great guy, and he's very inspirational, and I love him to pieces. And, like all of us, we've lost a spouse, but he has lost two of his three children. His daughter was 18 months, and his son died of brain cancer at age 15. So Tom had to go through all of the surgeries and the treatment and watching his son suffer and then die. So it's remarkable that he's so positive and inspirational and working hard to give back to others. So that's great. So yeah, I'm so glad, Brandi. That's so great, honey, that you're here. It's beautiful. Brandi's going for her master's. Yay! That's a big thumbs up. I'm excited because I was just telling everybody a little earlier, my niece, who married my nephew in June of last year, she just got her master's in accounting. So now all she has to do is study to take her CPA exam. And what was so great, she did an internship after she got her degree, and she was offered in writing a job offer starting with a lot of money by getting her master's. And I thought that's so great to leave college and to have a job lined up. So you go, Brandi. We're behind you, girlfriend. It's wonderful, wonderful. And I see that Nyla is saying that all of the widow sisters and brothers inspire her daily. And yes, and Nyla, you inspire us, honey, and I love that critter shirt so much. And I see Diana's with us. That's so great. Hi, Diane. Diane, I loved it. I told you guys that I was on the Yankee Grant radio show. It's live streaming videos, so you were able to see us. And they did a trivia question. They gave an address in London. I'm thinking it must have been one of the Beatles. She said, who lives there? And Widow's Ring called into the show, and she knew that the address was Sherlock Holmes' address. And she won a Starbucks card. I think that's so great. I wish that you were here, Widow's Ring, because I would say, you got to take me to Starbucks. But that was so great. She called in from Maryland. I love that. Love that. And Linda's here. Oh my gosh, Linda, we've been missing you too, honey. It's so great to have all of you guys here. You don't know how excited I am. And we're just talking about what the widowed want for Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever. Okay, I talked to Debbie in Colorado Springs, and she said, I want peace in my heart. Isn't that beautiful? She just wants peace. When we lose a loved one, there's so much turmoil, and we feel uprooted and disoriented and unsettled. And a lot of times there's chaos among family and friends and work, and that magnifies everything. So Debbie said that she just wants peace in her heart. And Elaine is in Suffolk County, New York. Elaine wrote to me and said, I wish you could give me peace and contentment and no hostility or anger. Boy, we all want that. That's good. She goes on to say she's referring to her married son who has issues with her. She says, I can't even go to see the children, I assume that's her grandchildren, as her heart races that he will start. To feel good about yourself, that you are not worthless in this world. Can you give me that? She says. Only I can find the answers to these conflicts. And Elaine, that's true, honey. You have to find the answers, but you can seek help and you can seek comfort and you can seek advice from other people who have been in your shoes and resolved the issues. Because you want to go see the kids. I know you want to go see the kids, but I also understand how it feels to be afraid that someone's just going to start because we're fragile. When we've suffered a loss, we just can't take anybody ragging on us or raising their voice or being condescending or mean in any kind of way. And in reality, we just want peace and contentment, no hostility and anger. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for that. So much for that. Julia says that she goes, I pray not to feel bitter all the time. I pray for that. Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes bitterness can certainly um, can enter into the widowhood thing. And yes, praying for that to be taken away from you is so great. I love it, Sandy. Sandy says the other day that she was alone and she was dancing in her kitchen. How cute is that? She cleaned the kitchen for hours, listening to the oldies but goodies music, and it was a slice of heaven. You know what? Those oldie songs really have a great upbeat happy rhythm for doing anything, and I'm picturing you in your kitchen dancing around and singing. I bet your kitchen was spick and span at the end of that time period. That's absolutely priceless. Keep sharing, guys. I love what you're saying. Linda Guillory says, please be kind enough to yourself to put yourself first, if only for a little while. And yes, and sometimes we do have to stop and put ourselves first. That's really beautiful. Thank you for that. Okay, Shannon in Indiana, she said, besides one more minute with Tim, that was her husband, I suppose I want to make sure my kids are happy, and I would really love a professional massage, a spa day to pamper and melt the stress from one day. Isn't that the cutest thing? Let's get Shannon on the phone. You want to? Let's call her up. She said she would probably be driving in her car at this time, which is why we don't see her online. But let's just do a surprise call and see if we can get her. Isn't this fun? I love this. I feel like the Ellen DeGeneres show. Hello, Shannon. It's Robin Craig, and you're on Robin Craig Live. How are you, honey?
I'm doing well, Robin. How are you?
I am doing great. We've been talking about you on the show, and I was reading everybody what you had sent me regarding what you want for Christmas or the holiday season, and you said that you wanted happiness and health for your children and a massage. I think that's so sweet. I said, we got to call Shannon right now.
That's definitely the truth. I will say this holiday season's been kind of rough so far, so
struggling because of your widowhood?
I am. This will be my fourth Christmas without him, and I found it here really hard. I found myself missing him. I hate to say more, but more powerful than I was accustomed to or prepared for.
Okay, and did you say this is your first Christmas as a widow?
No, 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 my fourth.
Your fourth. Okay, your fourth. And you know, people think by the time we get to this point that everything should be perfect, but it's still not, is it?
No, it's not. And I get surprised sometimes how much harder it can feel at times.
Yes.
Maybe it's the shock value because you could be having an absolutely great day, things could be going well, and all of a sudden you're angry and you're hurt and you want him here, and it just starts all over again.
Yes, I know it. It really is a struggle, and I know. I mean, I'm so proud of you because you've been going to school and you got two little kids. I think Lucas is 4, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And how old is your daughter?
18 months.
Yeah, so you've got two little kids that take a lot of attention, and I'm glad that you got your mom to help you, but still, that's a lot to handle. So you're right, and that's true for all people who are widowed. The emotions come and go, and one minute you feel okay, and the next minute you're sad or angry or crying, and that's all very normal. So, you know, maybe we'll have to take up a collection or see if we can work out a way to get you that massage.
That would be wonderful. I think I could really use one of those.
I know, I'm going to start working on that right now, honey.
Well, I appreciate that. You have a happy holiday.
Okay, sweetie, and I got to share one thing with you that I saw on Facebook the other day that was priceless. A lady had written about her little girl, and she said her daughter was eating chicken nuggets, and they were too hot for her to pick up with her fingers. So she wrapped one of them in a napkin, and she held it up, and she goes, "Look, I wrapped it in swaddling clothes."
Aww,
Isn't that
that's
cute? I
adorable.
know. I thought that was just priceless. I love the way children think. So I know that you'll enjoy your kids, and I know it's a struggle too, but I love you so much, and I really appreciate you sharing what you want for the holidays.
I love you too, and thank you so much
All
for
right, girl.
calling.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Okay, guys, so we've got to start plotting and scheming and figure out how to get Shannon that massage. Because, you know, we all have a lot on our plates. But when you're young and you've got two little kids like that and you're going to school, and I know that she's been losing weight. She was watching Robin Craig Live a few weeks ago when I had Stanley Bronstein as a guest. And he says you find your path by walking your path. And he's lost an unbelievable amount of weight by walking every day. So Shannon got a treadmill. She watched that show and she shared with me that she is down 1 jeans size. Isn't that great? In addition to school and everything else she's going, she's down a jean size. So I'm really proud of her and excited about that. And I love the fact that she wants a massage. So, okay, so Nyla, you have an idea. Okay, that's good. That's good. So, and you're right, Sandy. Even a pedicure is a good thing, and it's not too expensive. I know everybody should get every widow they know a manicure and a pedicure. It's so inexpensive, and we love the pampering. It's such a great thing. So if you're watching the show, you know what to give us. Okay, now moving right along, I talked to another widower named Alex in Baltimore, Maryland. And he says, I want people to stop treating me like I have some kind of disease. I just lost my wife. I would love for family and friends to share stories about my wife and just let me hear her name spoken aloud. I know people haven't forgotten about her, but they don't mention her. It's just not right. And Alex, you're right, honey. I say that all the time. My husband died at 43, and no one ever mentions his name. It's like he never existed. And I think one of the best gifts that we can be given is for someone to say our loved one's name and to share a story, to say, oh, I remember this joke, or oh, I remember when your husband or your wife did whatever. We would cherish that so much. So if you're watching the show and you're thinking, I wonder what to give the widow or the widower, if you can think of any story about our spouses, share it with us. We would absolutely love that. Okay. Now, I'm going to get Nyla on the phone. Nyla, we're going to hang for a minute. Let's just get you on the phone. Isn't this fun? And you never know when I'm going to surprise call you guys. So if I have your number, always have your phone by your side because anything can happen.
Hello, Rock and Robin.
Well, hello, young lady. You are on Robin Craig Live. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's Tuesday night, of course.
It's so great. I love it. I know. I just look forward to sharing this time with you guys. You're so wonderful and great. I just wanted to get you on the phone. I wanted to read what Anne Marie said that she wanted. She's in Syracuse, New York, and she said, I want empathetic understanding from family, friends, co-workers, and other people in my life that at any moment of any day, no matter how long you have become widowed, it's okay to cry, need a hug, lose your keys, lose your executive functioning, lose your cool, and still be accepted for the person that you are without judgment, harshness, or pity. Now, isn't that something, Nyla?
Absolutely, especially without the pity part. We give enough. We give ourselves enough of the pity party, and
Yes,
it just compounds it when others do so as well.
it really
Just
does.
walk up and give us a hug. No words are necessary. You're shy. You don't know what to say. There really isn't anything you can say.
Yes.
Walk
And
up, give us a hug. Help us find those dang keys. Help us find our way to our car. Box of tissues, whatever. And you too will be there one day.
I know it, and
You
I
will
love,
not, but you may.
I love the fact that Anne Marie pointed out that sometimes you lose your keys and sometimes your mind is just off and you forget things, but it's still okay. Somebody just give us a hug and give us a break and understand that it's part of this crazy roller coaster ride that comes and goes in different ways. It's so amazing. I love
Yeah.
that. And
And a lot of people, they don't understand. They really don't. And we get it that they don't understand. But listen when we try to explain to you.
yes,
Truly listen. Don't blink out on us. Don't get scared and, backtrack and go, oh, I got to go somewhere or I got to answer a call or whatever. Just let us feel it. You don't even have to answer back. You don't have to give any empathy back. Just hug us.
just
And
give
just
us a
let us
hug.
know that you're there, that we can just spill the beans and then go on about life afterwards. Because we're
Absolutely.
going to have those moments, even after
Absolutely.
3.5 years.
Absolutely. It can happen at any moment, but just bear with us is the bottom line. I love that. I thank you, Anne Marie, for sharing that. Okay, Nyla, you had an interesting comment. You said to have my all family Christmas back again. Seems like since John died, we cannot get together all at once on Christmas. I've either had to do early, late, like this year, or not at all. Yes, my boyfriend Mark, his son, and my youngest and her husband and baby Nyla, that's the grandbaby, will be here on Christmas, but the all event has to wait for New Year's Eve. And then she went on to say, even then, I may only get a few hours with all of my family before they scatter to parties. And then she made me laugh. She goes, I should quit bitching. I have more than most. I guess I just want to reverse time. And you know what? You hit the nail on the head because a lot of us scramble during the holidays and we really want it to be like it used to be where everybody felt the need to get together in the same room.
Let me clarify that. I have two other daughters. I have three daughters total. Only one will be with me with her family, and the other two are out of state, so they can't really be here. So in order to do it, it'd be New Year's Eve day. Well, that's also a day for
Yes,
young
yes, yes,
people to
yes.
go out and party and have a good time. And it's just every year, and I know it gets harder. They get married. They have their spouses, families to get with.
Yes.
It's just, I want to go back to when the girls were kids and John was alive and everything was perfect. Or at least I thought it was perfect.
Yes.
And of course
Yes.
it wasn't. It never is.
on something that is so important. I told someone just the other day, I have a handful of family left. And I told a friend just the other day, I just want to have everybody in the same room one time. I just want to feel what little family I have around me in the same room all at the same time. And that seems like such a small request. Why can't we have that?
Because life is busy, and we're older, and my kids aren't young by any means. They're in their late 20s and early 30s. Uh, but at the same time, they have their lives to go forward with. And it's all very busy, and it seems like the older we get, the shorter the time is. And, I mean, I had on shorts and flip-flops just yesterday when it was 106 here in Oklahoma, and now it's freezing, and Christmas is around the corner.
Yeah.
And all I did was go to sleep overnight. So everything goes too fast. And
Yes.
I have to back up and rewind myself and think, okay, if you think everything's going too fast now, that just means that the time when you get to go see John again, when you meet again in heaven, it'll be here before you know it. So enjoy what time you have now. Try to slow down. Be good to yourself. Get plenty of rest. Eat well. Or buy yourself that present Tom talked about.
Yes.
Look at the Christmas lights by yourself if no one else has time to go with you.
I know. I love that you went.
Go to the mall and just sit and watch the goofy people yell at each other because they can't find the perfect present. And I actually did that last week. I was bored, and I knew I was going to let myself flop into that depression mode. So I'm still fighting it after 3.5 years. I got up, didn't have any makeup on, had on sweat, but I went to the mall, bought me a drink, and sat on one of those benches and watched people, and boy, are they hilarious.
That's so good. That's so good, honey. I absolutely love that. Now, before we scoot along, I want to read what Julia wrote because she wrote something so beautiful. She said, I do not wish for things I know I cannot have, but my wishes are very sincere. I will sound so corny, but it's my true and honest wish. My most sincere wish is peace. Everyone, everywhere. Whether it is peace at home among family members or on the huge scale of world peace, a world we can trust our children to be safe in, safe from war, safe from deathly poverty, or simply peace of mind, which in itself could bring all the things I have listed. And then she cracked me up. She goes, I feel like a beauty pageant contestant. I hope for world peace. And that's so funny because they always say that, but it's true though. And then she says, I know, she's so funny. Julia, you cracking me up. She goes, but that's it. One simple word that means so many different things depending on who you are, where you are, just peace. I wonder if I had been asked this several years ago, what my answer would have been. I think I love it. I love that. She says, I think probably the same, but I know that changes in my life have influenced many things. I would wish for a cure for cancer, but there are so many things that need a cure. I feel a cancer wish is completely selfish because we know Julia had cancer. She says we each have our own story, but imagine how much peace of mind could help those stories. So, what I want for Christmas? Just that one thing because it covers so much. And then Julia, who is so hysterical, says, or if I can't have that, plastic surgery. She says, really, I hate my neck. Isn't that funny? And then she goes, again, don't waste time on things you can't have. Is that the funniest thing?
Absolutely. I mean, Julia has a great sense of humor, and she, just like the rest of us, have the same widowhood that we don't want to be in, but we're here in this group. But she's starting to find the laughter and the joke around the backside of it to bring herself up. And that's what we all have to look for.
Yes.
I try to find my favorite thing, and it's my job that God gave me on this earth, is to make one person giggle a day. If I do that, I've done my job. And I was reading in the chat room that Penny agrees together. And that
Yes.
traditions do
Yes.
change
Yes.
year to year. And if I would just sit back and think about all the changes in the almost 35 years of marriage that John and I had, of all the changes of traditions that we had, I'm just making new traditions now.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm following some of my children's new traditions. I'm
Yes.
doing with them what they want to do, and that's okay. If I need to just back off and take some of the pressure off of myself,
Yes.
and so does our widows and widowers,
Yes.
and just enjoy. If you can't enjoy a season, enjoy a week. If you can't enjoy the week, enjoy the day.
Yes.
If you can't enjoy the day, enjoy the hour.
Yes.
If not the hour, the 5 minutes and one smile.
Yes. Well,
It will slowly grow just like rabbits.
well, I know that Santa Claus is bound to be watching Rob and Craig live. I mean, like he has nothing else to do, right? So I want to take a moment to tell Santa what I want. Dear Santa, what I really want this year is a fat bank account and a thin body. And Santa, please don't get mixed up like you did last year, okay? So there you have it. Gotta have some kind of fun.
I think that's all on our list.
It's so fun. Oh my gosh, it's just great. Well, Nyla, I love what you said, and I love that you brought attention to the fact that there's a whole long line of us who really just want to see our entire family in the same room at the same time. So maybe that's something that we can put on our wish list, and just by letting people know that we want that, maybe we have a better chance of that happening.
I just want to wish every single one of my little sisters and my little brothers out there Merry Christmas, and
Yes.
hug yourself and find a giggle here and there.
Yes. And the same to you, honey. I love you so much. I thank you for sharing with us, and I thank you for being a regular viewer, and always love your comments in the chat room here on Rob and Craig Live. Thank you, honey, and I wish you have a great, great, great holiday season.
You're welcome, Robin.
All right, girlfriend, talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Gosh, isn't it an eye-opener to really see what people really want for the holidays? It's all really basic. I mean, the only thing that you can purchase is Shannon, who wants the massage, and I totally get that. I think we would all line up for that. But everybody wanted things that are so basic. Just peace and love and family and support. It's so beautiful, and I really hope that everybody can have that. I appreciate you guys so much for joining me here on Rob and Craig Live. You know, I log in half an hour early every week so that we can get the dialogue started. I'm going to hang out in the chat room for another few minutes, and we'll catch up a little bit more, but please tell your friends about the show, and please try to bring one person with you next week. I love that we got Brandi, and I love that we got Linda Guillory. We haven't seen you guys lately. The rest of you guys I have seen recently, and I'm excited. Oh my gosh, is that Penny in there? Penny, oh my gosh, honey, I didn't know you were here. I am tickled pink. That's the greatest thing ever. I just really love that. You guys are really the best ever. You mean so much to me, and I hope you'll join me every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, right here on Robin Craig Live. And don't forget to bring somebody with you. We're trying to double our audience here on the show, and if everybody brings one person, mission accomplished. So have a great holiday season, and really, all jokes aside, I hope that Santa comes very soon, because I can't be good one more minute. It's painful. I love you guys.